Rainbow Six Siege has gone through some major changes, and I'm not just talking about the addition of new characters. Ubisoft has gone to great lengths to try to balance its game through patches and reworks, but sometimes that means taking away our favorite things. Hi, I'm Alpha Lance with the Leaderboard, and today we're going to talk about some of the changes in Rainbow Six Siege that we miss. Now, keep in mind, all of these changes were done for the greater good of the game, so like your favorite OC, all of these were overpowered as hell, and probably only really fun for one person. But as long as it was you, what else matters? Number 1. Bring back the ACOGs to defense, specifically Smoke, Bandit, and Jaeger. The cry heard round the world and still to this day. Before September 5th, 2017, most defense characters had access to the ACOG scope, which gives you a 2.5 magnification for long-distance engagements. It makes sense because almost every gun has access to the same weapon attachments, with exceptions like most shotguns not having access to silencers, etc. Unfortunately, a trend started to arise that Ubisoft didn't quite know how to answer: spawn peeking. It's a Siege-exclusive kind of spawn camping where the defense turns to offense by breaking the windows and shooting the attacking team before they even reach the building. The most infamous duo to abuse this strategy with the ACOG were the two defensive operators of the German GSG-9, Dominic Bandit Rosenmeier and Marius Jaeger Stryker. Both of these operators have gadgets that can be set and left alone, which would allow them to roam the building freely. With their spots covered by gadgets, they were free to run to their favorite window and sneak a peek in a direction that the enemy is likely to come from. Bandit's MP7 submachine gun is deadly accurate, and combined with his 3-speed mobility, Bandit's defensive rush strategies from long range were becoming a real nuisance to the community. Jaeger's no slouch either, seeing as he can wield the 416C carbine. He's the only defensive operator with access to an assault rifle. Then, on September 5th, 2017, Ubisoft released the Year 2 Season 3 DLC, patch 2.3.0, more awesomely known as Operation Blood Orchid. This update included the new operators Ying, Legion, and Ella, who we'll be talking more about later, as well as the new map Theme Park. With this patch came a new standard for Ubisoft's character development going forward that said the following: from now on, there will not be a 2 or 3 speed defender with the option of using the ACOG sight. While we like the fact that defenders can challenge attackers on long distances on their approach, we believe this strategy should come with a higher risk. The possibility for 3-speed operators like Jaeger and Bandit to challenge on the longest distances while being able to relocate very quickly is currently too strong. As a consequence, Jaeger and Bandit lose their ACOG, and the only new defenders that will get ACOGs will be the heavy armored ones. Bandit, Jaeger, and Smoke fans were devastated as their submachine guns were no longer able to excel at mid to long ranges, being reduced to short to mid-range combat. Although this hasn't stopped players from using their guns in similar strategies as before, and many still call for the return of Bandit's ACOG, making this our number 1 most missed change from Rainbow Six Siege. Number 2. Twitch's drone having 30 shots. French operator Emmanuel Twitch Pichon of the GIGN originally had a single RSD-1 model that she could deploy during combat. Before update 4.2 on September 13, 2016, Twitch had a standard drone for reconnaissance in the setup phase, and her shock drone had 15 taser shots loaded into it. Patch 4.2 brought about a rework for Twitch that not only gave her 2 drones for the price of 1, but buffed her drone's effectiveness as well. Its speed was buffed and firing distance increased. As if this wasn't impressive enough, it also had its sound dampened and had its blinking red light removed for added stealth. Ubisoft gave Twitch her second drone, saying, quote, "Twitch is a good example of an operator that is popular, has satisfactory pick and win ratios, yet her unique gadget, the shock drone, is quite underwhelming. Because of this, we have decided to change the utility of the shock drone quite drastically in order to reinforce the uniqueness of her gameplay and the threat of shock drones." Well, they did just that. Since her rework, Twitch's drones had a combined 30 taser shots. So if left to her own devices, or rather her enemies' devices, a good Twitch could single-handedly take out all 4 of Bandit's shockwire batteries, 5 Kapkan entry denial devices, 4 mute jammers, 3 Jaeger active defense systems, and all the cameras in your base. After all that, Twitch would still have enough shots to tag the entire team a few times. Her threat levels were through the roof. On update 2.4.2 on January 23, 2018, a year and 4 months later, Ubisoft reduced the max ammo of each shock drone from 15 taser shots to 5. Ubisoft stated Twitch right now is too strong. There are several possible reasons, one of them being that her drones have the potential to deny an unreasonable amount of electronics from defenders. You could say that again, and that's without mentioning the ability to annoy enemy players by buzzing around their feet, shooting them with abundant tasers in the butts until they're knocked down. She was despised for being annoying, but even after her patch, Twitch is still a solid operator who just needs to prioritize gadgets now over injuring players. Number 3. Blackbeard's Invincible Shield. In Rainbow Six Siege's second DLC expansion, Operation Dustline, Ubisoft released Craig Blackbeard Jensen of the Navy SEALs alongside Megan J. Valkyrie Castellano to bring tactical awareness and firepower to Siege's multiplayer. Equipped with the TARS Mark 0 transparent armored rifle shield, Blackbeard is able to increase his mobility protection without diminishing his field of vision. While aiming down his rifle sights, Blackbeard's head is completely covered from the front, allowing him to peek in windows and exchange fire without taking damage. As long as the shield survives, Blackbeard is untouchable from a small angle. And when he was first released, oh boy, did it survive. Blackbeard's rifle shield started out with a whopping 800 hit points, which means it had the combined health of 8 operators standing in front of him. Even posted up from behind 8 players worth of health, he could exchange fire from behind said cover. Also, unlike Montagna or Blitz, Blackbeard didn't fire a wimpy little pea shooter. He had access to the powerful Mark 17 CQB assault rifle and the SR-25 marksman rifle. After 4 months of his unkillable rifle shield, Ubisoft slightly reworked Blackbeard's gameplay, giving him 2 rifle shields that a player could swap between with 150 hit points each. Then, even with this, he still maintained the highest kill-death ratio of all operators in the game, being able to outtrade almost anyone in any situation. So Ubisoft reduced the shield's health down to 60 hit points each in Update 5.2, and then even farther down to 50 HP in Update 3.2.2. Blackbeard excels at holding angles when he can expose as little of himself as possible. Thanks to his shield, the amount of squishy flesh left protected is reduced even more. Blackbeard's biggest weakness becomes spotting him from any angle that isn't right in front of him. The best part of playing old Blackbeard was feeling like you could take your time aiming down sights. With 8 players worth of hit points keeping you safe, you never had to worry about what was right in front of your face. It felt like an overshield in Halo in a game where single bullets can take you out before you know your opponent's even there. Using Blackbeard's new shields feels like hiding behind 2 sheets of plywood. I mean, how can you feel safe behind that? I mean, I'm gonna take any protection I can get, but it's just not the same. Number 4. Kapkan's trap being an insta-kill. In the beginning, Maxim Kapkan Basuda's entry denial devices were placed at a single height around shin or ankle, and had a bright red laser trip line. They also had a visible marker on the opposite side of the wall that they were attached to, and all of these visual giveaways were to balance Kapkan's trap being an insta-kill if triggered. Now all of his traps do is only 60 damage. While this is still a large chunk of health, it doesn't feel nearly as satisfying when triggered. In Kapkan's operator video, we watch a group of soldiers moving in on his position, similar to how you feel in multiplayer as the attacking team started to close in on the objective. Then, as the first infiltrator is about to touch the door, explosives fire out shrapnel, instantly killing the would-be attackers. Now, operator videos are meant to be extreme versions or perfect scenarios for the operators, like in Castle's operator video when the enemies outside stupidly fire all around him continuously but never shoot the gap that we know is at the bottom of each barricade. But in the video, it still feels like a massive explosion akin to a grenade going off right next to your face. Kapkan's traps being a big payoff if they caught an opponent unaware could be a great counter against what many feel is Rainbow Six Siege's increasing gameplay speed. Sure, even though Kapkan's traps do less damage, the laser has faded over time, making the trap harder to see and eventually removed almost entirely, which is a big deal. But when I play Kapkan, I want my traps to be like a mosquito lamp. Bright and obvious, but they get the job done, and I relish the idea of having that insta-kill button back. Number 5. The Golden Age of Ela. As previously mentioned, this green-haired wrecking ball arrived in Operation Blood Orchid, and was the first time a third operator was released in a season update. Elizbieta Ela Bosak is a defending operator who can throw Gersmont mines to any surface that will trigger when an enemy gets too close. Once triggered, these mines impair the affected player's hearing and cause a dizzying effect, similar to the classic flashbangs but in mine form. These powerful mines came out at the same time as Legion's goo mines, which made for a frustrating change of pace as the trap game became the the meta. To put it lightly, Ela was god tier, and impact grenades, which made her an excellent roamer, as well as being a 3-speed operator. On top of all this, Ela had exclusive access to the Scorpion EVO 3A1 submachine gun, which had low recoil with good damage, which made it good at taking out multiple targets. This led to Ela being selected, and this is according to Ubisoft, in almost every game of Siege. In almost every match, Ela was showing up according to official stats by Ubisoft. After Ela was released in September, Ubisoft decided to patch her in October, and again in January the following year. It took one more patch again in March, until she was finally down to a level Ubisoft felt was balanced. As if the poor girl hadn't been nerfed enough, 3-speed operators got a general speed decrease then in June. Ubisoft said in their patch notes for the March 2018 update, Ela is still too powerful, and logically picked way too often. She was too good at doing all the roaming work by herself, preparing rotations, being warned by concussion mines, and of course killing with her SMG. Yeah, that's what made her fun, Ubisoft. You gotta admit, while Ela was dangerous to fight against, wouldn't you like to go back to have a chance at playing a character in her prime that Ubisoft had to nerf at least 3 times? I know I would. If you want to hear more about all the ways Rainbow Six Siege has changed since its release, take a look at our then versus now of Rainbow Six Siege. And once again, I'm your host, Alpha Lance, and if you haven't already, give us a like and subscribe to The Leaderboard, your home for video game facts.